This video game is so unbelievably important to me. It is one of, if not the first video game I have ever played, ever. And it's a game that I literally would go back and play like once a year. This is like one of my biggest memories in gaming ever. And my biggest wish in gaming was to get this game again, but remade because it's flawed. There's issues. And I wanted to see it again somehow, but I kind of put it to rest. Never thought it'd happen. Thought this would be my only copy. And then this happened. 3 years ago, I slept in on a Nintendo Direct partner showcase where they were showing nothing but third-party games. I just didn't really care about it back in 2022, and there was nothing that I could really think of that would excite me until I woke up to a text from one of my best friends telling me Pac-Man is coming. And I was like, what? What are we talking about? Like, why are you texting me this? Until I realized that it was Pac-Man World. Now, Pac-Man World 1 is a game that I actually missed growing up. It was a little bit before I started gaming. I actually had a PS1, but I never played this game. But I was obsessed with it still, which was weird. I used to go to the library, and the library would actually have, like, game magazines and guides for this game. And I would just sit and read it, considering the fact that I couldn't find the game, like, anywhere. Like, at the time, it was nowhere. But ever since that trailer, I said to myself, oh my gosh, there's an actual chance. There's an actual chance we could be getting Pac-Man World 2 repack. And I prayed from this day forward almost every single day for it to become a reality. Every time we got a partner direct announced, I would always like put in the title Pac-Man World 2, like, you know, kind of getting myself excited for an inevitable disappointment because it wouldn't happen. Now, there's a lot of games still that I would love to see remade. Like, I would even love to see a ground up remake for Mario 64, Kid Icarus Uprising kind of making a return, something with Punch Out. But I always had three major wishes. My first one was to get Mario Sunshine remade in some capacity. Now, even though this technically didn't happen, it did come back to Nintendo Switch, a future console, which I was so excited about. And if you played Mario 3D All-Stars, you'll notice that Mario Sunshine seemed to be one of the few that got upgraded the most. It just looks so much better. I'm sorry, I counted it as one of my dreams come true because we're getting Mario Sunshine in the modern era. That was in 2020. My second wish, and arguably my biggest one, even bigger than Pac-Man World 2 repack, was getting Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door remade. I mean, look at my reaction. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! No! My heart. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna, like, serious, Oh my gosh. I can die happy. I can die happy. These games mean so much to me. And the reason why is because they were my childhood games. They were some of the first ones I ever played, and to this day, some of my favorites of all time that can never be topped. And with Sunshine and the Thousand Year Door under my belt, and even more surprises, like, who would have thought Croc would have got a remake? That's another game I grew up with. But in July of this year, 2025, we got word of another partner direct, and there was one thing that I was looking forward to. In fact, I even made a bingo board and went on a Nintendo Prime podcast where in my first slot, I put Pac-Man World 2 repack. Just, you know, out of pure hopium. It finally happened. Pac-Man World 2 repack. I can't even put into words how much this means to me. In fact, I have no type of script at all for this video. I just want to talk about this game and what it means to me. It's funny because I grew up as a GameCube kid. I also had a PS1 and a PS2, but I was addicted to my GameCube. But for some reason, I had Pac-Man World 2 on my PS2, and that's exactly why I brought Pac-Man World 2 repack on my PS5, and some other reasons. Finally, I got all the remakes I could have ever asked for, but this one was just special, man. Oh my gosh, I was so excited for this game. And when I dove into this game, let's talk. Pac-Man World 2 was an amazing 3D platformer, at least for an early 2000s game. But also, for other early 2000 3D platformers, it wasn't the only one that had issues. Lots of games in this era were having camera issues, controls that were a little slippery, you know, they weren't perfect, and neither was Pac-Man World 2. The controls were pretty tight, but the camera was wonky, and some of the level design choices was just flat out awful. The Snow World had unbelievably wonky ice physics that was just a chore to get over. The entire Lava World was just extremely wonky, like the camera is stuck in this position in this little hallway area so that way when you go back, you literally can't see where you're going. you're gonna take mad damage. This was just horrible. The game had one unique main story boss battle where the other 3 were just clones of each other, and they were super freaking frustrating. I'm talking to you, Clyde, which wasn't even Clyde. Like, they just messed up the ghost names in this game. The water world was filled with these weird on-rails swimming levels where you couldn't do anything but move forward and spin and slightly move to the left and right. And the lighting of this game was so bad. I mean, Ghost Island was just a big pitch black mess. What you're seeing right now is just really, really bad considering the fact that I was using a brand new high definition TV and just this is the colors. Normally it's not even this bad, but what you're seeing right now is way more than I could see on the actual television. I mean, this was just completely pitch black, something like this. So when I tell you a remake of this game was absolutely necessary, it truly was. And they absolutely remade the heck out of this game. There's even parts of this game that's just completely different than the original. I mean, completely different level design, reimagining with some of the boss battles. I mean, they completely remade this game from the ground up, almost as if this is what it was supposed to be like in the first place. I mean, they even brought back Martin T. Sherman, which was the voice of Pac-Man from Pac-Man World 3. And it just fits because he just sounds like a cool white guy.
Oh, excuse me. Can't go adventuring hungry. How about a quick snack?
And I just love the little friendly banter that he has with the ghost. It's just so cool.
Time for my ace in the hole. No more Mr. Nice Clyde. Hey, hold on. Where are you sticking that golden fruit? Clyde?
This game just had me smiling the entire time. And at $30, who wouldn't be? Sure, maybe I'm going to be extremely nostalgia biased here, but this is genuinely one of the best remakes I have ever seen. And I thought Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door remake was really good. This one though, this has love and effort poured in every single nook and cranny of it. The lighting is bright and colorful. There's new characters added in Pac Village and also brand new enemies that we've never seen before. There's also really cool collectible costumes and stuff for Pac-Man. Look at him, he looks freaking awesome. Like I previously mentioned, the bosses have been completely revamped. It's no longer the same copy and paste Robo Ghost. This time they're completely new boss battles with really cool mechanics, and they even offer some serious difficulty at times. The Snow World's ice physics have been completely revamped to not be as punishing, and also the ice skating level at Blade Mountain is freaking more peak than ever. How is that possible? This was one of my favorite levels in gaming history, and they already made it better. The entire lava world actually has a lot better camera to actually show you where you're going, better shortcuts to prevent tedious backtracking, and completely revamped level design. Some of these levels don't feel anywhere near the same as the original, and most of the time people would probably complain about this with this being a remake, but as a diehard fan of the original, this world needed it. The ocean world probably changed the most out of all of them. It's no longer an on-rails thing. Instead, you can actually freely swim around and explore. And there's even like a dolphin kick and new underwater abilities. You can even eat ghosts underwater, which has like never been a thing. Although I did change the controls around for this one because in order to raise up in the water, you had to press R1, and to go down, you had to press R2, which was just weird to use both on the same side of the controller. So I mapped R2 to swim up and L2 to swim down. The pack sub level was already pretty decent, but it's now like made to be like a Star Fox level. I mean, you have full control underwater. You can even barrel roll to the left and right, and the different abilities just feel so much better now. And you're actually like firing super fast torpedoes instead of really slow moving ones. It literally feels like a modern Star Fox game, and it makes me want Star Fox even more now. Ghost Island now looks entirely different. Instead of being dark, eerie, and almost like realistic of a dark swamp, it looks more like Ghost Island should, like it does from Pac-Man World 1's repack, where it's all purple goop everywhere and thunder and lightning in the sky and having just this kind of purple fog and aura everywhere. Plus, the rollerbladed stage, once again, absolutely peak. They have these brand new rails that you can grind on and even walls that you can ride on. Like, they truly snapped with this. Now I'm about to dive into the ending of the game and the post game, so if you want to just bounce out here, you can, especially if you don't want to get spoiled. But yes, the post game and the end game is so good. You can actually have somewhat of a fight with Wormwood the tree this time instead of just walking up to him and him dying. The fight with Spooky this time was extremely difficult. In fact, a lot of people complain about the game being too hard, and I personally didn't feel this. Like, even in the post-game levels, they definitely ramped up on difficulty, but I never felt like the game was too hard, even with the boss battles. That is until the bonus boss, which I'll get into in a second. But overall, no, I felt like the bosses were fair. There just was a lot of phases phases and you had to learn all the different moves and attacks of Spooky. Using Pac-Man's new moves to take out enemies and even bosses was so much fun. The flip kick can be done on the ground now like a regular attack, which is great. There's even a Pac pellet throw, which I'll get to in a second, and a super bounce, which the super bounce is probably my only complaint. It's a really fun new move, but I wish it wasn't tied to like a time button press, because there's times where I needed to use it and just couldn't do it in that time, and times where I didn't want to use it and I just wanted to keep bouncing, but instead it would do a mega bounce. So yeah, I wish they just tied that to a specific button, if anything. And did I mention there's a post game now that's like a whole additional story that actually still ties into the main story that you need to actually play in order to understand how it truly ends? And it gives you pretty much one level from each world and a revisit to that boss fight, which gives you a very difficult version of that level, and even adding some new elements and maybe some new parts to that level as well. This was so cool. And it also gave you remixed music of those levels. Let me already tell you that the game's music is so good. It's just slightly remixed versions of the original, which is already great music, but they just slightly tweaked it to make it a little bit better, but also giving you remixed versions of those songs in this post game, which is awesome. Now, these levels did get pretty difficult, and I can see a lot of people having issues with these, but playing this made me want another Pac-Man game, like a true Pac-Man World 3. No, not you. A true Pac-Man World 3 that picks up off of these ideas, because man, some of the enemy designs and stuff actually require you to throw Pac dots, which I thought worked really well, and I've seen a lot of people complaining about them, but I didn't really have any issues with them. And the only time I felt like these levels were getting pretty difficult was when I was trying to collect every single fruit in the stage and get a full 100%. And there's also missions for you to complete. Like, some missions are kind of crazy, having you not die or take any damage to certain bosses or levels, or maybe collecting all the fruit or getting a certain amount of something like bear traps or enemies in all the levels, which keeps you coming back and replaying those levels. And the second final fight with Spooky was just as difficult, if not more difficult than the first time, but still wasn't anything that truly made me upset. Unlike freaking Talkman. Talkman returns as a surprise bonus fight at the very end of this post game. And if you don't know who Talkman is, he was the final boss of the first Pac-Man World game. Now, I haven't played that one in a very long time, even the repack version, which was at least 3 years ago when it came out in 2022. But trust me when I say this is not the same boss fight that I remembered. He gets a giant rocket launcher, even a huge flaming axe to try to hit you, and this boss is so frustrating. There's 3 extremely long drug out phases, and just getting through the first 2 phases to get to that third one every single time seemed to be my biggest complaint. But yeah, you could hit him at different intervals and stuff and find quicker ways to do so, but man, it was just the wait getting to that third phase, because man, that third phase, he can actually knock you off the platform, which is an instant KO, and there's no checkpoints. You have to go through all the phases all over again. Oh my gosh, I almost pulled my hair out over this boss. It took me almost 2 hours to finally beat him. Just to find out that the only reason we're fighting in the first place is just because Pac-Man didn't invite him to his birthday party, where Pac-Man actually did. It's just Talkman asked for toilet paper and a ghost instead handed him the invitation, but he instead used it as toilet paper. That is legitimately the story. Is Pac-Man World 2 Repack a revolutionary 3D platformer? No. Is it going to offer you something that you've probably never seen before in any other 3D platformer? No, especially not here in 2025, and it's not trying to do that. It's simply taking something that came out in the early 2000s and revamping it and fixing it up to be the best possible version that it was always meant to be. I genuinely never thought I'd see this game come out again, and the way that it came out surprised me even more than I ever could have imagined. I mean, I would have took a complete one-to-one remake with just better graphics, but they gave us almost a reimagining with certain levels completely changing, but for the good, not for the worse. The moveset and controls of Pac-Man feel great, even his new butt bounce, which might not have the same momentum as the original, but man, it still feels just as good as ever to use. Everything about this game brought charm and excitement back into me. I was kind of feeling with video games right now, but seeing something like this made me smile again. It made me remember the childhood that I grew up with and the games that we had back then. And the best part is, they're even celebrating Pac-Man in bigger ways. For instance, there's DLC DLC coming that's adding Sonic the Hedgehog stages, 3 new stages if I'm not mistaken, plus Pac-Man and the Ghost are coming as playable racers in Sonic Racing Cross Worlds, which I'm already in love with that game as well, and growing up as a huge Sonic fan as well as Mario and Pac-Man, I mean, come on. And having a Pac-Man World 2 themed racetrack in Sonic, I mean, take my freaking money. What a time to be alive. But now the question is, do we want a Pac-Man World 3 repack? I mean, that game could definitely use a complete new makeover because, it has issues. It doesn't follow the same structure whatsoever from the first 2 games and tries to be something different, almost like a beat 'em up at times. So yeah, as I did grow up with that game as well, I didn't like it anywhere near as much as I did with Pac-Man World 2. So personally, I'd rather them just make a true Pac-Man World 3, an actual sequel to the second game that feels like a sequel to the second game, or just a completely new Pac-Man World game altogether. But if they do remake 3, hopefully it's from the ground up and something completely different. But yeah, I'm just so happy right now, and I don't think there's any other remake in the world that I could possibly need.